to answer your questions, to make sure that you guys get more clarity as to what's going on. If you guys have spent money recently and you're wondering, where's my payout or where's my account? Or maybe you start a transaction, it was canceled, you don't know what's going on with it, right? This is where I'm going to answer as many things as possible so I can help steer you guys in the right direction. So let's pretty much jump into it. For section one, your payouts, policy, and timing. What's the plan for current payout policy and tier system? Any upcoming changes or simplifications? As always, people want more clarity as to the direction that we're going to be going with potential rule changes, with payouts. They want things to be more simplified. As of right now, as most of you know, we implemented the payout policy, which is 90% on the first payout, 30% on the next two payouts, and then 70% on the fourth payout, all the way up to the sixth payout, and then 99% after that. And you have to hit a certain amount of profit to move through the tiers. Now, we understand, given the feedback that you guys have given, that this is not something that's very popular, especially with the people who had active accounts where we changed the payout policy or updated the payout policy for them. And this is including people who maybe purchased the add-on where you guys had a higher profit split, or people who used the promotion and had higher profit split. We completely understand. I had explained this inside of Discord. In the month of April, the company had the largest month in terms of revenue since March of 2024. So April 2025, which was 2 months ago, we had our largest month in terms of revenue. What does that mean? We sold the most amount of challenges. We also saw a very difficult trend in payouts, where payouts normally were anywhere around 30 to 50% of our revenue. Meaning if we bring in $1,000, we pay out $500. But for whatever reason, the month of April, there was a lot of nonsense going on in the markets with tariffs, a lot of volatility, and payouts spiked to around, at the peak, around 150% of revenue, meaning for every $1,000 we were selling in challenges, we were paying out $1,500 to those traders. Now, we're still getting to the exact reason as to why this occurred. Could it be to the way we structure the challenges? Could it have just been the moves in the market? Could it have been our pricing? Could it have been promotions? We're still getting exactly to the bottom of what caused this. But that kind of moved us to shift into a preservation kind of mode, where if payouts are going to be more than revenue, ultimately that can only last for so long. We only have so much cash reserves to be able to withstand that. And if that trend continued with the old payout policy, quite simply, the business would not have been able to sustain itself. Payouts would have had to be paused indefinitely, and everyone would have been in a very tough position. I think in an even more tough position than we are in at the moment. So we had to make that difficult decision. Is it permanent? At this point, I can't say whether it will be permanent or not. Our goal is to be able to update the payout policy back to a reasonable payout split for all payouts. In some cases, based like back to what you guys originally anticipated having. But at the same time, we do have to be cognizant of the fact of where we are at the current moment and what we can actually provide to you guys to continue to trade the accounts. So the payout policy just really had to happen. And that's disappointing, obviously, for me to say that. And that's disappointing for you guys, right? It's beyond frustrating for you guys to have a change occur like that. But again, the goal is for that not to be permanent. The goal is to get things back to where they were, not even just 30 days ago. And I believe that we can get there, but we have to make some very key decisions right now. And we have to be pretty much very on top of everything that's going on at the moment. So, in terms of any upcoming changes or simplifications, I think the only potential change in my mind at the moment is launching a new challenge that is structured in a way where we really believe that it's never going to basically go upside down. So it's going to be more sustainable. There's ideas around that currently. We just did make a lot of changes with the pricing, with different things. So we're kind of letting things cool down and seeing where things fall this week. And there's also the instant funding accounts, which we've kind of been teasing for a while. And we can only launch those once we migrate to our own technology. And that's also part of kind of the situation that we're dealing with right now is the current technology vendor. We're winding down the partnership with them. Fees are a little higher at the moment with them. That also kind of works into our cash position along with other reasons. So there's a lot of factors involved right now. Getting to our own technology is going to be, and I've said this before, a game changer because it not only saves us a ton of money, but it gives us a lot more flexibility to adjust things in a way where we can kind of work more with you guys. An example of that is maybe instead of changing the payout policy, we change the consistency rule to be more strict. And yeah, this would have potentially prevented more people from being able to request withdrawals, but when they did, they'd be able to withdraw at the higher split. Well, when we went to our current technology provider to ask for that change, it was not something that could have been done in a reasonable time frame, given the urgency of the situation, which is what it is, right? But once we do get to our own technology, we'll be able to kind of prioritize these changes and, in my opinion, just have more flexibility to make modifications that help the user experience and help us navigate situations like this. Obviously, we never want to be in a situation like this, but inevitably, it happens, and it has happened with us. So we just have to prepare in the future if this were to happen again. Like, and we're on our own technology, it just gives us a lot more options. So we're planning right now to migrate June 28th. So in 25 days, about 3 weeks. So we're going to make an official announcement about the migration, everything that's going to occur. You guys will not still be on the same accounts, so you're not going to be going to like a new account or anything. But details around that will be released once it's fully prepared. But once that does happen, we'll be able to launch the instant funding account, which I think will be something exciting. Because right now, everyone's just really looking for some type of positive update, something exciting to look forward to, given the recent changes. And we're completely aware of that. So look out for that update coming soon, later this month, and that should help to steer things in the right direction. So let's move to the next question. How do TFT's profit split percentages aim to be fair and competitive in the current market? It's a great question. Given the current state of the market, especially on the CFD side, it is pretty standardized that you will get an 80% profit split, or I would say at the least a 75% profit split, depending on the firm that you do choose. And there's obviously a lot of firms that you can choose from. At the same time, a lot of those firms will give you the first payout in 8 days and the next payout in 14 days or 30 days, or they'll give the first payout in 30 days and the next payout in 14 days, or they'll just give you all payouts in 14 days or all payouts in 7 days, but you have to maintain a certain consistency rule to be able to get that payout. Right now, with the three of our main challenges, which are the Royal Pro, the Night Pro, and the Night. The Night and Night Pro have anytime payouts, so there's no delays in terms of when you can request between your last payout. And the Royal Pro, it's every 2 days. So I do believe this quicker time to be able to request the payouts does differentiate us amongst the other firms, and also just pricing generally. We have the lowest pricing by far in the industry at the moment. Granted, we do have minimum profitable days on those challenges. We did remove the consistency rules from all new challenges, so that's not something that we do have anymore. So I think generally when you look at the rules of our challenge right now, there might be lower leverage or there might be minimum profitable trading days. But then there's balance-based daily drawdown, there's news trading, there's a soft breach on daily drawdown. There's static drawdown on the night challenge, which is a one-step program. I think every challenge is doing a good job of balancing the pros and cons, and those are posted in Discord in the challenge comparison channel. So if you guys are curious, like each challenge, what are the pros and what are the cons? It's posted in there. So I think although we do have lower profit splits per se, um, on average, if you do make it to subsequent payouts and scale up the payout percentage, you can end up in a situation where you make a similar amount of profit as to if you had an 80% split the entire time and you are paying a very much lower price to get into the challenge. So, anyone that either has not enough money to purchase other types of challenges from other firms, or they're more confident in their skill set and they want to spend less money, this is basically the value proposition that we have at the moment, and that's how we size up in the market right now. Next one, how are you working to speed up payout processing times and improve reliability? So this is the $1 million question right now. I did post inside of Discord. There is an announcements channel specifically for, let's see, there is an announcements channel specifically for funded traders. And I'm just seeing a few people can't hear anything in Discord. If you can't, just leave and then reconnect, and you should be able to actually hear your audio will probably connect if you do that. So I posted an announcement in Discord, pretty transparent. I'll actually read it over to you guys so you get an understanding of the current state of payouts. So we are continuing to pay out right now. I'm going to get into more details of exactly how that's going. But this announcement that we posted, there was a form that you guys filled out based on anybody in Discord who is owed a payout right now that's pending. We did an analysis on all of those people that filled out that form. So thanks for filling out the form we shared. We now have a clear picture of how many people in here are waiting. 4 traders have been waiting over a month, but 3 of those are flagged accounts that will be offering settlements for soon. So these are basically people who their trading strategies were flagged by the risk department, advising us essentially either to breach their accounts or not pay them out. We are going to be paying them out a settlement for those payouts, though. 10 traders are waiting under 3 days. 32 traders are waiting 3 to 7 days. 39 traders are waiting 1 to 2 weeks, and 6 traders are waiting 2 to 4 weeks. With our recent pricing updates, we're now positioned to be in a better spot financially, even in worst case scenarios. And what we did was we basically looked at the margins on all of our challenges, our fixed costs, our payout costs, the average price that people had been paying over the last couple of months, and we restructured the pricing to ensure that we always have a certain margin across the board for all of our challenges. So, for example, that might be on the Royal Pro 100K account. We might now be charging whatever the updated pricing is, and that pricing allows us to have a 50% margin, meaning if we sell $1,000 in challenges, there will be around $500 in costs, including payouts, and that leaves $500 left over in the event that payouts go higher or that we need to reinvest in the company or whatever. So that is the kind of like gap or threshold that we have, so that we have room in case things do go differently than as planned. That's more than enough room, a 50% margin. So that's how, what I'd say that we're restructuring pricing for worst case scenarios. We kind of went through in April a worst case scenario, and now we're priced in a way where if payouts did get to that level, based on what we're charging for challenges now, we still would be in a position where we would be profitable, able to afford payouts, etc., which is very important. So as revenue continues to stabilize, we're aiming to fully clear the current backlog and resume processing older settlements from March 2024. So what this means is those traders that are waiting beyond the normal payout windows, which is on average in 2025 is around 4 business days. So anyone waiting over 4 business days, which in Discord it's about 60 people, that would be something that we're looking to clear as we stabilize and as we get things back in better shape. And that's just the reality of the situation that we're currently in. We had some funds. I post this as well inside of Discord. We are dealing with increased costs on the technology side, given that we need to migrate to our own technology in the last couple of months. Costs there have gone up significantly because our contract is winding down and we weren't able to kind of renegotiate it at the previous price that we had since we're not renewing it. So that increased our prices significantly on the technology side. We had an unexpected payment that had to be made for some payroll taxes that reduced our cash position as well. So it's a multitude of things, not just people making more money on the challenges, that's causing us to essentially have less cash at the moment. And we do believe that this situation can stabilize, and that's why we're here. We're pushing, and we're also behind the scenes looking at other options that we have to make liquidity available more immediately, so that way we can get the money out to you guys in terms of payouts that are owed. So by tomorrow, I'm going to send out an email to anyone who is currently pending a payout longer than the time they should be, just letting them know if it's approved or not. This way, you don't randomly get a rejection message. I think that that's very important right now, is just ensuring that you guys know that this payout is approved and that you're not randomly going to be rejected. And then in terms of timelines, as things over this week materialize, and next week we'll start to communicate timelines of when we expect things to get cleared as things kind of level out here. But we are committing to continue to send payouts every single day, as much as we can at the moment. And that's just the reality of where we're at. And we're hopefully going to get more liquidity freed up in the coming days, so that we can go ahead and just clear everything and get everything back to a normal state. And that's our main priority. So that's why this is section one on the call. That's why we're going over it. And that's kind of our approach right now. And that's really as transparent as we can be at the moment with you guys. We're going to keep communicating inside Discord and via email, and keep you guys in the loop as to what is going on. And like I said, we're going to keep pushing forward and keep making moves to make this happen. What's the update on any owed payouts or compensation from relaunch period? So we had been doing like agreements or settlement agreements with the people who were owed payouts from 2024, March 2024. Anyone who, and I posted this inside of Discord via email as well, anybody who is owed a payout, has agreed to their payout amount, has agreed to the settlement date. You have been sent an account, an agreement. You guys have been given instructions on what to do. We are still committing to the dates that we had sent to you guys, and we are going to continue to allocate liquidity to those people to get those payouts cleared. Obviously, the main focus is what we just discussed in getting operations normalized and stabilized. That's sort of priority number one. So that's going to take precedent over everything else. But we still are expecting the payout by the dates that were agreed to. Anyone that didn't receive a settlement yet, didn't agree to a settlement offer, didn't agree to their payout dates, those are currently paused, and we will be revisiting those at the end of July to start that process again, considering the situation that we're in at that time. So right now we're very focused just on our normal operations, shifting the focus sort of from those payout settlements back to normal operations. Because at the end of the day, if we can't stabilize our normal operations, then there is no really path to getting people paid from the relaunch period. So that unfortunately has to be deprioritized at the moment, but that's just the reality of the situation. So as things improve, we will put more effort back into that, like we were doing over the last couple of months. And I will say this, we definitely made a lot of progress since we started in March to start the settlement offers, the relaunch accounts, those initiatives. We've gotten a lot of people paid. And what I mean by that is we've really got hundreds of people paid that were owed settlements, whether that's challenge accounts or that's actual payments. We've been able to resolve a lot of that situation. And there's more work to be done, and we're committed to doing that work. So we're going to pause really quick before we get to section two. Again, if you're on YouTube and you're not inside of Discord, there is a giveaway that is running right now. All you need to do is go to the announcements channel, fill out the form that is posted in there, and I'm going to pick 25 winners at the end of the session. So if you are in here looking for a free account, that is your way to get one. So We're going to go ahead and move to the next section, section 2, trading rules and challenges. Will trading rules become simpler and more stable in the future? This is definitely one of the top questions that people are asking. Let's see this. This is definitely one of the top questions that people are asking right now is will trading rules become simpler and more stable? So the goal is never to have to change any rules. The goal is never to have to disrupt the user experience. And that should be the case in really any business. Um, at the end of the day, if the business gets into a position where it has to do that, it really has to do it for reasons beyond our control. And we're never looking to do that. That's never the idea. And you know that we've been posting surveys over the last couple months, helping you guys shape all the challenges when it comes to Night Pro, Royal Pro, and the changes to Night Challenge, shape the payout policy, shape promotions, shape the features on our prop tech, on our dashboard. So you guys have been working with us pretty much every step of the way for almost every change we've made since we relaunched the operations in March 2024. And that's how we like to do it because I think building with the community is the best way to do things. And I don't just say that. I just really feel that anyone that is inside of Discord, who has filled out any of these surveys, who has voiced what they want in terms of features, challenges, etc., it kind of not kind of, but it makes everyone feel involved. It makes everyone feel like they're contributing to what we're building, and that's really where we want to be. Suddenly having to change things without the input of you guys is really difficult, and obviously is a frustrating position to be in. So we're never looking to do that. We're constantly learning from previous things that have happened, mistakes that have been made, etc. So hopefully that can result in simpler, more stable trading rules in the future. But let's see, right? Right now we just changed the pricing, we removed the consistency rule. Let's see where things end up, and let's see if we can get back to a balanced state where you guys believe that we have a product that is very valuable, like we did prior to these changes. Because, like I said, in April we had our largest month since the relaunch. We we had the most challenge sales, we had the most activity in terms of trading, and it's only 1 month removed from that. So we're a few moves away from getting back the momentum, getting back into a spot where things are rocking and rolling. And that's just how we have to look at it. That's just the reality of the situation. Can you address concerns about rules like steadfast gains, daily march, consistency, and drawdown calculations? Any changes planned? In terms of these rules, the steadfast gains or the consistency rule was removed from all new accounts that are purchased, but also if you were on phase one and upgraded into phase two, it would be removed from that phase two account. If you were on phase one or phase two and you're upgraded into a funded account, it would be removed from that funded account. So at this point, I think a lot of people inside of the community have shifted into a no consistency rule account. We obviously did not change that for active funded accounts. And the reason we did that is very simple. If we were to remove the consistency rule, which would have enabled a lot of people to request payouts right away, we just simply wouldn't have been able to afford that change. And so we already are in a very tight position. So that decision would have definitely put things over the edge and caused a lot more frustration from you guys. So in terms of concerns, there has to be rules. There has to be rules to the challenges. If there was no rules and everyone could just gallivant through and make it to a payout, then this wouldn't be a meritocratic system rewarding the most successful traders. This would just be some sort of fantasy world of trading, right? And that's not what we're looking to do. So in terms of these rules, they're going to remain. Rules should be simple, should be straightforward. If things are not, they're seeming complicated, we do have a full help center with a lot of examples there. We've kind of gone above and beyond, always trying to provide explanations. All of our moderators and the support team are doing in my opinion, a pretty good job of providing responses. But at the end of the day, there is a help center that you can reference And we ask you guys to please review that in full before purchasing challenges and everything like that. So we are not planning per se any changes, but if we do, at this point, we're definitely going to be posting surveys, polls, asking you guys for feedback if there are going to be future changes to the challenge. How are rule changes applied to accounts purchased before a new rule was announced? Will original terms be honored? Um, I mean, this really depends. In some cases, the rule change benefits the user that purchased before the account. In some cases, the user sees it as a negative. For example, traders that purchased challenges that now all of a sudden don't have a consistency rule on the challenge, that is a positive. Um, that is a positive thing for you guys, a positive feature for you guys to have experience and to have gotten after you purchased. For those that had the payout policy changed, right, that could be seen as a negative thing that was affected to active accounts. So in the past, we've we've not in the past, but always we've tried to navigate changes and only apply it to new accounts. There's also certain limitations when it comes to our current technology to be able to do that in a reasonable way. And our team at this point is not as large as it was previously because of the size of the business. So I'll give you an example. We would love to always do changes and have it affect all new accounts only. But then we have to create all new plans. And in some cases, there's hundreds of plans for all the challenges. And then we have to update things in terms of the website, in terms of those plans connecting to the right product IDs. And this is all work that can be done. Does it overcomplicate things? Does it, on the risk side, overcomplicate things as well, creating all new plans, all new programs every time there's one change? Yes, I do think once we migrate to our technology, it's going to be a lot easier to do these things, which is part of the reason why we're heading in that direction. Um, so yeah, part of it's just a technology limitation. Part of it is that we just had to make changes, or else the business would definitely not have been able to recover. And part of it is that some of the changes are positive and people want it on their current accounts. So I hope I answered that question. How will you ensure challenge rules are clear to prevent accidental breaches? Will there be warnings or second chances? Um, it's a very generalized question. When it comes to challenge rules, we have prohibited trading strategies, and some of them are monitored by our risk system. And for example, we have the rapid fire trading rule, which is entering a certain amount of trades within a certain amount of time. And then there also are some other conditions, as mentioned in the FAQ. You are given warnings for this. So there's two deductions. And then on the third one, the account could potentially get breached. And these are clearly outlined inside of the Help Center. So we've already done a good job clearly presenting the rules inside of there. If there is a situation where you make it to a funded account, we review your trading strategy entirely and decide that we don't want to work with you, you are in line to get a refund on that challenge as well. We do understand that you wasted your time essentially in that situation, but we do have to protect the integrity of the firm if we notice some type of trading strategy or activity that we simply cannot support. And at the end of the day, getting a refund is what you deserve in that moment. We unfortunately can't give you that time back. Um, but in terms of how many times that's actually happening, how many cases that's happening to, it's not a large percentage of the users where they're making it to a funded account and we're simply denying them because of the trading strategy. It really is not significant. If you guys review the rules in the Help Center, if you guys trade within the rules that are stated there, you trade responsibly, you guys will have no issues. And there's plenty of people inside of Discord that will give you that testimonial. And at the same time, there's plenty of people inside of Discord that will also give you a negative testimonial. And that's just life, is there's going to be people that are affected negatively and positively by certain things. They're not going to agree with certain things, even by rules that are clearly stated. And the people who are negatively impacted are more likely to be very vocal. And that's just the reality of this game and any game. So that completes section 2. So we're about we're almost halfway through the session. So a reminder, anyone that's joined late, you'll be able to see the replay of this session on YouTube. It is being recorded. We'll put timestamps on the video. Anyone on YouTube that has not filled out the questionnaire for the giveaway, simply go to Discord, go to announcements, fill out the survey. There's 25 people that will win. There are 800 people that submitted the questions actually since a couple days ago. And this is how we created this questionnaire right here. So there are 800 people that could qualify to win the giveaway. So if you guys believe that you want to win or you can win, just go fill out the survey right now. I'll be picking the winners afterwards. Let's go to section 3. I'll actually leave it like this. Section 3, what's the status of relaunch accounts and owed relaunch accounts? So this section is about your account support, pretty generalized title. The status in March and April, we started sending a lot of accounts out to relaunch users. We had about 600 users who got their relaunch accounts back. In some cases, they were getting up to 15 accounts each. We were splitting the larger accounts into smaller accounts. So there were thousands of accounts that were given out in the months of March and April. And this was through the efforts of the enhanced support days that we were hosting and that I was particularly helping with because I wanted to get people back to trading. I wanted to get these users, especially the ones active in Discord, I wanted to get them back in the markets, back trading with TFT. Now, unfortunately, that coincided with April being, again, pretty much our largest month in revenue, which was great because there was a lot of support that was being built. There was a lot of momentum, a lot of positive talk, a lot of referrals happening. But unfortunately, the company experienced a setback in the payouts exceeding the revenue. And that is something which is affecting the continuation of being able to issue relaunch accounts. It's also just, as you guys know, relaunch accounts have limited withdrawal kind of options at the moment. They have a withdrawal every 30 days. They need to make 1.5% for 3 days during that period. And there's a withdrawal cap of 2%. On that withdrawal. Well, actually, there's withdrawal cap in line with the new payout policy. I'm sorry, that's updated. So on the first payout, they get up to 99% or 90% with a 0.5% cap. On the second payout, they have a 10% cap, but they have a 30% payout, etc. So right now, anyone on a relaunch account, you can only withdraw every 30 days. We know that this is very restricted. The reason for this is we simply need to make sure that we financially can afford the payouts, and we need to prioritize the people who are actively paying for accounts. Granted, you guys did pay for an account in 2023, so you are still a priority. So I don't want to undermine that you guys are loyal participants in the community. You guys have supported us by purchasing challenges in the past. And when we paused operations, our goal was to get everyone an account back that unfortunately at that time had their account paused. And we've made considerable progress. We've given back 90% of the accounts, which to me is like amazing considering where we were when we paused operations. So up to 90% of people, or about 90% of people who paused in March 2024 were given an account back. But for the 10% of people that are still left, 600 of you got their accounts back in April and March, and now you're experiencing a not as ideal trading environment in terms of the rules on your accounts. We are going to look to change that. That's obviously a priority for us, but we just have to focus on one thing at a time right now. We just have to make sure that we do the most basic things right. We have to focus on the currently active accounts that are not relaunch accounts. That is the main priority at the moment. What improvements are being made to customer support response times and resolving issues? This is a project that we started a couple of weeks back, and I'm going to be reviewing it this week. We are structuring an AI support chat representative. So there's a lot of cool applications that you can utilize right now to create what's called an agentic system, where you have an agent who is providing support. And these aren't bullshit support responses that maybe 5 years ago the support chatbots would provide. These are very high level large language models that are referencing your help centers and referencing historical conversational data and using that to provide responses to people to real questions. So we're kind of in a testing phase right now for that system. We're going to look to roll it out hopefully in the next 2-3 weeks, similar to when we launch the new prop tech. And that should significantly reduce the response times that customer support currently has, to be within seconds. We want to bring back live chat. We want you guys to be able to ask questions not only in Discord but through the live chat. And we think that this is going to make that a reality. So look for that coming in the next couple of weeks. Although, in things in terms of momentum have slowed down, it might seem, in the last 30 days, this update that we're going to make to the dashboard, to the prop tech, to the customer support, to our website in the next 30 days is really going to be a game changer and something that we've been working on and pushing for a while. And it's, in my opinion, going to be the catalyst to kind of get us through the situation that we're in right now. So I know a lot of people have comments about the dashboard and how it works, and they're disappointed in it, or the website and how it's slow, or the customer support and how it's slow, right? There's a lot of feedback that you guys have given, and we've listened to all of it. And these updates that we're going to be pushing this month, I believe, are going to be game changers, are going to help to resolve a lot of those problems that people have raised with us, and kind of push us into a new, better direction. So looking forward to that. And obviously, you guys, you're just hearing my words, right? Actions speak louder than words. So once it's out and you guys experience it, I'm looking forward to seeing your guys' feedback on it as well. Can you clarify rules on IP addresses using multiple devices or merging accounts? No merging accounts. Multiple devices is definitely not encouraged. If you guys are using 2 devices consistently, we can kind of see a trend there, and it's not something that's going to raise too many red flags. But if you have 10 different devices, that's clear that there's something weird going on. And then IP addresses, same thing. If we see a theme of a certain IP address consistently, and let's say that, I'll give you an example where an IP address could be a problem. Let's say that your IP address comes up as the same as somebody else's, but your trading history also is the same as somebody else's. Then it's clear that you guys are trading on a similar network. You guys are taking similar positions. That's something that could raise a red flag and call us to say, okay, maybe these traders are trading together. Maybe these traders are doing something nefarious. And so that would raise a red flag if there was a deeper investigation into your account. So I would just say, in terms of IP address, if you're using a VPN, try not to, per se. Try to just have common sense when it comes to these things. You're going to be able to see on the new dashboard the IP addresses that are being logged on your account. That's something that we are going to be adding to the dashboard so that you can see it. So if you're seeing like your IP address is 50 different things, and there's no consistency there, then maybe look into the VPN that you're using or the internet provider you're using and see what's going on there. Maybe you travel a lot, right? And that's why you're always on a different IP address. Maybe that's something you should clarify with support and have a paper trail of you mentioning where you're going to be trading at 100 different locations or in different countries or whatever. I think generally it's not something that you should worry about too much, per se. The IP address thing, because like I said, with VPN, with networks, IP addresses do change, so it's not the most reliable thing for us to find. But if we do see a cross, if we do see like multiple different factors when it comes to IP, multiple devices, etc., trading history, and use all of those together, that could tell a story, that could put you in violation of the rules. So be cognizant of it. But independently, I don't think IP addresses is something that we would enforce. But together with multiple devices, with trading history, it could be something that becomes a factor. All right. Section 4, we're making good progress. We're going to keep going. So anybody in Discord who's still with us, and has not filled out the giveaway, go ahead and fill that out. Anyone posting a question right now in the chat, I'm not going to be getting to questions in the chat. It's only questions submitted through the survey that was posted in the announcements channel. So if you guys not only want your questions answered, but you want to participate in the giveaway, make sure to fill out that survey. You still can do it right now. Section 4, what's next? Platform, execution, and the future. This is a very important section. We should be looking towards what's next. Right now, I think we're all looking for something to look forward to. At the end of the day, people that are in an active account, you have purchased the challenge and used your money to participate in the program, and you are looking for what's next, what's this company doing to improve their position, how are we looking to get ahead, how are we looking to improve your experience. That's really why you're here, right? You're not here to just listen to me rant on some bullshit stuff. You're here to understand, how is my experience going to improve? How are my concerns going to be alleviated? How am I going to know spending money here makes sense? And what do we have to look forward to? So let's get into this section. When is instant funding launching and what will it look like? In terms of what it will look like, we will poll you guys on the different options that we can provide as an initial instant funding program, and you will decide on the rules of the instant funding account. We will create them in a way that we believe is sustainable. And when will it launch? When we launch the new prop tech, so by June 28th. So this month, instant funding is coming. It will be out. The latest that we are planning to migrate is June 28th. So there will be official announcement about that. Any news on a trade copier, new challenge types, or different account sizes? So I'm going to give you guys some insight of how we're thinking about kind of features, changes, the dashboard, etc. So we posted I believe it was a giveaway or just like a question. We wanted you guys to provide ideas for new features for the prop tech or for your dashboard. Through that initiative, you guys submitted like hundreds of different ideas, which was amazing. We kind of narrowed down to around 20 features that are the most like important, the most suggested by you guys, and those are things like trade lockouts. Those are things like closing your trades from the dashboard, being able to pause your account for periods of time. So different stuff like that. The trade copier being a feature on the dashboard, so you can copy between your accounts without having to use an outside platform. So these are all features that you guys have suggested. Then we had you vote on them, so we know the exact priority that we should work on them. Now we're prototyping all of them, and we're going to start posting the prototypes so you guys can give additional feedback on what you guys think about what we've created so far. And we're going to start to roll those out with the new dashboard. So June 28th, new dashboard launches. It'll be a very kind of base model similar to what we have now, but we're going to start pushing releases every single week, every single month with new features that you guys have suggested. You're going to be working with us on those features by giving us feedback on what they look like, how it looks like from a UI perspective, bugs, etc. So this is all about to start rolling. This is all about to start gaining momentum after June 28th once we get on our own dashboard. New challenge types, the instant funding program, that'll be the first one. Potential modifications to the current challenges that we believe help to balance things out. These things will be voted on by you guys. Account sizes, I don't believe we're considering different account sizes at the moment, but that's always something that we can revisit. So yeah, in terms of news, you're going to be seeing it. There's a channel in Discord called Release Notes. If you go in there right now, I'm going to go in there actually, you can see the roadmap. You can see what everyone's voted on in terms of improvements, the dashboard, suggestions. I've ranked basically the order in which you guys want things to be done. And that is what we're going to use as our North Star to improve things in the dashboard and just generally with the company. So going to continue to go down that direction, gathering feedback from you guys. I think that's the best way to approach this. All right. What updates are coming to the trading dashboard and platform technology? I just went over that. I'm not going to go through it again. Um, but like we do already offer MT5, we do offer C Trader for global now, including US, and Match Trader for global clients, MT5s for non-US. So again, all the updates that are gonna be coming are in that channel release notes inside of Discord. So head over there if you guys want to know. And that is going to again be our North Star of how we're going to work on things. Can you discuss TFT's execution model and how you ensure fair spreads and manage slippage? This is definitely an important question to discuss. In terms of execution, right now, TFT does have, and people can say this, they do have, or we do have some of the best execution in the industry. And I don't say that lightly. I'm talking pure dollars and percentages in terms of slippage. We are having some of the best execution right now in the industry, and I think that's why a lot of people are trading with us at the moment. Is they do see that execution for the most part is fair. That being said, we're always looking for ways to improve our execution, improving our risk management framework. On the brokerage side, there's a lot of companies that provide services that help to manage risk. And that's something on the prop side that's just not as popular. And there's a few players that are starting to enter the space who can help manage risk on the prop side in terms of the execution and the feed. And so we're exploring all options there. The goal is never to end up in a situation where clients feel as though they can't actually trade the feed because there's too much slippage or there's too much spread. It needs to be fair, similar to the challenge rules. So we're always looking to create a fair environment that does not result in overwhelmingly amount of negative feedback. But in terms of the model, most people know right now we're selling challenges. There's no A and B book on a prop. Firms can say they have an A book or B book, but it's just not the reality. We've been saying this for a long time. So either you can entirely just pay your payouts from challenge revenue, or you can create alternative sources of revenue through subscriptions. For example, we're going to be offering a subscription in the dashboard that when it launches for like advanced features like trade copier, etc. It won't be anything substantial, but it'll be something. Or you can aggregate the trading data, create a signal system, and then trade your own capital. That's the true point of a prop firm at the end of the day. But there's no A and B booking. This isn't a broker, and it's very important to delineate ourselves from a brokerage because we are not a broker. And so we are in no way A or B booking traders. If anything, it's trading using the signal system, it's creating alternative revenue sources, and it's challenge revenue. And I want to be very clear and explicit about that. And there's no world that we would live in where we would become an A and B book model unless that we did become a brokerage. In that case, we'd have to become regulated as a brokerage. So what is next? How is TFT ensuring long-term stability and trader trust, especially after past events? It's always a important question to answer, and I think that the people who have supported us thus far, people in Discord right now, inside of this chat on YouTube, listening to this, you are extremely loyal members. A lot of you have made money with TFT previously, which is why you're here. Maybe you've gotten your first payout with TFT. Maybe you passed your first challenge with TFT. Maybe you got your largest payout with TFT. We have to remember there's been over 35,000 payouts issued with the funded trader. There's been over 155 million in payouts paid. So there's a lot of people who have benefited from trading with us in the last couple of years. And that's why we still have a lot of support. We've also given literally hundreds of thousands of dollars in payouts to people who have won giveaways just in the past year. So we're huge on giving back to the community. That's a huge pillar of the business. So how do we gain trader trust? It's simply just by doing the most fundamentally basic things right, like enabling your funded account in a reasonable time frame, answering the support chat in a reasonable time frame, paying the payout in a reasonable time frame. The bar in the industry is extremely low because there's so many firms that just quite frankly are terribly run. and offer bad support or whatever. And we don't want to find ourselves in that category of firms. Unfortunately, we have had a very rocky year, and we've had some highs and we've had some lows. Um, but we have also, if you look at our Trustpilot, been in a position where we've had a Trustpilot review of over 4.5 stars with over 20,000 reviews, and we're also now in a position where we have a Trustpilot score of around 3.3 with over 22 or 23,000 reviews. So we've been on both sides. We've been at the top, we've been at the bottom of the mountain. So for us, we've learned a lot, and we really just need to continue to do the right thing, to do the most basic things correctly, and we know that trust will return. That's most important. Just about consistency over time. That's how any business is. That's how you build trust. All right. So last section, before we get there, for the few people that are still on here, we are going to increase the giveaway from 25 to 30 accounts. So there will be 30 accounts that will be sent out. So if you are on the call still, go ahead, fill out the survey. Your chances will increase for winning an account. Appreciate you guys all for being here. So last section, what are the biggest mistakes traders make, and what are your top tips for success with traders with TFT? So I think with the recent changes with TFT, it has promoted traders to take less risk. They don't want to have their account banned when they get to the funded account. They don't want their payouts rejected. So they're risking less per trade. They're losing less aggregately in one given day. Like they're inputting their own rules where maybe if they lose 1%, they won't trade that account for the rest of the day. So they're just limiting their tilt, which they're limiting their situations where they lose and it compounds into more losing. And when they're winning, they're ultimately letting those winners run, and they're maximizing their winning trades. So all this comes down to is these people have playbooks of positions, of setups that they look at. They see trends within the market before they're happening because they've simply looked at the market and studied it and focused on mainly one pair. And they're just milking that one pair because of the fact that they have so many setups that they've seen previously, and they have more intuition, but also more data to go by in order to how make decisions in those situations. So the biggest mistakes I see traders making is just trading randomly, trading on tilt, trading where they're compounding their losses to a level during the day, which crushes them psychologically and also crushes their account. And so my top tips are have a playbook of setups, limit the amount you're risking per trade, limit the amount you're willing to lose per day, and really just overall have more patience with the account. What educational resources or community support initiatives are planned? In terms of educational resources, there's going to be a section added to the new dashboard for educational purposes. But in my opinion, the best place for you guys to learn is inside of the Discord. There are countless people in there who have made payouts, who are willing to teach you how to trade, who are willing to hop on a call with you or share with you setups, etc. So don't overcomplicate things. Simply go in there and ask your friends that you make there, ask your Discord buddies how they're getting these payouts. There's that funded results channel where people are posting their payouts in there as well. So those are the people to look to. And anyone that you meet on Discord or meet online, make sure you verify their results. Ask them for their payout certificates where you can scan the QR codes and verify who they are. Ask them for as much proof as possible before learning from them. And then what are the current details for participating in giveaways and trading competitions? So we just hosted one of the largest trading competitions since the relaunch. I believe it's ending in like 2 days. We are potentially going to look to host another trading competition before the migration to the prop tech or to the new dashboard. So we're always going to be planning trading competitions. That's something we've done in the past. I think we were one of the first firms to even do a competition. They've always been fun. They've always been a good opportunity for people to win money or accounts. So we'll keep doing those. And then giveaways, we're currently hosting like several giveaways every week. Every other week, we're hosting one in Twitter, which we give out 150 accounts between 10 different Twitter accounts. So look out for that. The chances of you winning those are honestly pretty high because a lot of people just simply don't follow the rules that well. So if you guys follow the rules, if you guys are active in the community, if you guys are supporting TFT, you guys are going to win accounts. And that's just how it goes. And you see people in Discord winning accounts all the time. So if you want that to be you, maybe reach out to them, ask what they've done to win an account. And the chances of you winning are pretty high. So that's pretty much it. We've gone through all 5 sections. Just to wrap up, we're going to wrap up with some announcements. So again, by June 28th, we're looking to migrate to the new dashboard, the new technology. We're also looking to drop a new website. We're looking to drop AI support so that you guys can finally get the live chat that you've been looking for and you don't have to bother Discord moderators for basic questions. So that's coming in this month. In terms of payout operations, if you guys missed the first section of the call or of the webinar, go on YouTube. The replay will be there and you guys can check out all my answers to those questions because we spent a good amount of time on that section. In terms of promotions, we're done with the 90% off, 80% off. We've brought down the base pricing and now we're doing up to 20% off max for the discounts moving forward. After that, the prices is still the lowest in the industry. So if you guys are comfortable with paying the lowest price, getting your daily drawdown balance based, being able to trade news, being able to request your payouts anytime or within 2 days, and you guys are willing to engage in the payout policy, which is 90% on your first payout, 30% on your next 2 payouts, 70% on your 4th and 5th payouts, etc. I do believe the value proposition is there, but for those that don't believe that that is a good option for you, we are looking to create something else, an alternative product that we do offer to offer an industry standard profit split. That's something that we're looking into right now. I'm going to start posting about it in Discord. And for anyone on an active account that feels as though it's unfair that they didn't get their consistency rule removed or they are now in the payout policy that was changed or etc., I just want to say that your concerns and your frustrations are very valid. And the reality is we had to make some tough decisions to keep things going, given the fact that in April we had such a surge in payouts. I think we paid out almost nearly $1 million in payouts during that period of time, which up to that point we were paying on average like 200, 300K in payouts a month. So it was just like a crazy surge in payouts. Granted, we are figuring out what happened during that period. We are stabilizing things right now with our new pricing and the new payout policy, and we're going to look to make updates in the future. We're obviously not perfect. We never have been. We've always tried to do our best. In some cases, we've done a good enough job to be the best in the industry, and in some cases, we've done a bad enough job to be near the bottom of the industry. And it's just the reality of the ups and downs of this type of business. This business model has never been fleshed out before, and coming into it, I pitched this to many companies, and many companies said that you guys are crazy for doing this. This will never work, etc. And during periods of time, it worked really well, and during periods of time, it worked really poorly. And we're still trying to figure out the best way exactly to do this. But we're passionate about it. We're passionate about helping you guys get opportunities. And to me, that's what's most important. So we're going to keep going, and let's see where we end up in the next 7 days, next 2 weeks, next 30 days with the launch of these new initiatives. And that's pretty much it. So appreciate you guys for hopping on. This has been another AMA. This will be uploaded again on YouTube. The giveaway winners will be selected shortly. And we'll catch you guys in the next AMA, which I don't believe will be next week, but will be the following week. So best of luck. Keep looking out for updates, and I'll talk to you guys soon.